Christy, I'm trying to homeschool my child, but the toddler is always underfoot. I'm not getting the work done that I want to each day, and I'm struggling. Help! If you're in the trenches of trying to homeschool an older child while keeping a little one or maybe even multiple little ones occupied, this is the show for you. Trust me, I've been there. Back in my early homeschooling days when I started homeschooling my 5-year-old, I had 2-year-old twins and a baby. It was chaos.
It was absolute chaos.
And to top it off, Scott, my husband, was traveling for work every single week at the time. I won't sugarcoat it, ladies. It was tough, but here's the good news. With the right strategies in your back pocket, you can keep your older child learning, keep your younger ones entertained, and yes, hold on to your sanity. That's why today I'm sharing 5 practical strategies to help you not just survive, but truly thrive in this season of life. So let's get started. Before we get into it though, hi, I'm Christy-Faith, author, speaker, and creator of Thrive Homeschool Community, where I get to mentor and help homeschool parents like you every single day. So how do we actually make this work? Let's start with strategy number 1, having special homeschool-only toys. Sometimes things feel special simply because we can't have them all the time, like candy. You don't get it every day, but when it makes an appearance, it's an exciting treat. The same idea applies to homeschool-only toys. A great thing to do is create a designated bin or a few bins if you want to rotate them, filled with toys that your little ones get to enjoy only during homeschool time. This makes them feel like it's a novelty, helping to buy you some precious focus time with your older child. Now, before you run off to grab just any toys, let me give you a few guidelines for choosing the right ones, because not all toys are created equal when it comes to homeschool survival mode. Number 1, avoid noisy toys. Does this have to be a rule just for the toddlers? I cannot stand noisy toys.
Oh, for crying out loud.
It does you no good if your toddler is happily entertained, but your older child can't hear over a toy belting out the ABCs at full volume. You want toys that are quiet but engaging. Great options: puzzles, mess-free water painting, lacing cards, or any quiet busy books. Anything that keeps their hands moving but their mouths quiet is a win. Number 2, keep it mess-free, or at least low mess. Homeschooling already has enough moving parts, and by the time you're done with lessons, the last thing you want to do is take an extra hour for cleanup. Take it from me, stickers need boundaries, and glitter should be banned. If you're giving your child a reusable sticker book, make sure they understand that stickers go in the book and only in the book. Ask me how I know. Safer choices: magnetic drawing boards, water reveal coloring books, and felt play sets. And number 3, choose open-ended toys for longer engagement. Toys with a single function lose their magic quickly. Your toddler will push a button 10 times and then they're done.
All done. What?
Instead, go for open-ended toys that allow for creativity and extended play. Good examples: magnetic tiles, silk scarves, felt boards, and stacking cups. Most families already have magnetic tiles because they're amazing, but if they're an everyday toy in your house, consider setting aside just a few themed pieces like magnetic animals or special colors for the homeschool toy bin. That small difference can make them feel new and exciting again. If you're feeling stuck on ideas, just search Waldorf toys. Those are a goldmine for simple, engaging, open-ended play. Now, here's the key. These toys should only come out during homeschool time. If your child has access to them all the time, they lose their luster. So when lessons are over, make putting them away part of the routine. Play a song, sing a little cleanup tune, and say goodbye to the toys until tomorrow. This not only keeps the magic alive, but also builds a predictable rhythm that helps your toddler transition out of school time smoothly. And not long ago, I did an episode on the 5 books that changed my parenting and homeschooling game. I think Simplicity Parenting should be on every parent's TBR list. Go and watch that episode because I did a deep dive on that book. It goes over why you should simplify toys and other things in your home. On to tip number 2 after a word from our sponsors. As a homeschool mom who values a family together approach and leans towards the classical and Charlotte Mason styles, I often struggle to bring my educational vision to life with my kids' diverse ages and learning needs. needs. With all our interests and super packed schedule, bridging that gap between the dreamy homeschool I want and reality, I gotta be honest, it's a challenge. Now, yes, I know perfection isn't the goal, but if you're listening and you could use a little easing of your mental load in your day-to-day, I found a resource that has become the quiet hero of our routine, and it could be a really great option for you too. BJU Press Homeschool Curriculum. Now, many think that BJU Press Homeschool is solely an all-in-one option, and though it does excel in that role, did you know you can also opt for specific courses and tailor them to fit your family's needs, just as I have? BJU Press Homeschool provides the perfect balance of structure and flexibility and easily complements my family's mixed age, family together on the couch learning style. They are second to none in integrating a biblical worldview, stimulating critical thinking, and offering tons of hands-on activities in the lessons. To find out how BJU Press Homeschool can come alongside you in your homeschooling goals too, visit bjupresshomeschool.com or click the link in the show notes. Okay, strategy number 2, anchor learning to routine. If you have a toddler, chances are your day already has a natural rhythm, one that revolves around nap times, snack breaks, and energy bursts. And while life with little ones can feel unpredictable, the truth is that predictability is one of the greatest gifts we can give our kids. Young children thrive when they know what's coming next. It gives them a sense of security, it reduces meltdowns, and it actually helps them transition between activities more smoothly. So instead of constantly feeling like you're squeezing homeschool in around the toddler chaos, start anchoring learning to the rhythms that already exist in your day. For example, nap time could equal focused school time. When your toddler is asleep, that's the perfect window for tackling the most focus-heavy subjects with your older child, like math or writing. Snack time could always mean read aloud time. Instead of feeling like you're losing time while your toddler munches away, use it as a chance to gather everyone together for a story. You're not falling behind, you're layering in meaningful learning moments in a way that feels natural. Morning time could equal independent play for the toddler and schoolwork for the older child. This is where those homeschool-only toys I mentioned earlier come in handy. While your toddler is engaged with something special, you can work through lessons that don't require complete silence. So let's talk about how this works with different nap schedules. If your little one is still on 2 naps a day, you could use the first nap for core subjects like language arts and math, and you could use the second nap for activities that require more hands-on involvement, like history notebooking, science experiments, or art projects. If your toddler or baby is down to 1 nap a day, consider starting the morning with core work while your toddler plays with homeschool-only toys. Save the more involved and potentially messy activities like science experiments or watercolor painting for nap time. The key here is consistency. When your homeschool has a steady rhythm, your older child learns when to expect focus time, and your toddler learns when it's their turn to have your full attention. Everybody benefits from a routine, including you. And if you're feeling guilty about not doing enough or falling behind, let's put that to rest. Many studies, including one from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child, show that children feel more secure and learn better in environments with predictable daily structures. So by building homeschool into your natural routine, you're not just surviving the toddler years, you're creating an environment where both you and your kids can thrive. On to strategy number 3, high energy activity rotation. I mentioned earlier the idea of rotating homeschool-only toys, but let's take it a step further, because sometimes no toy in the world will keep a high-energy toddler entertained if they have pent-up energy. If your little one seems restless every day, struggles to engage, or just isn't satisfied with quiet play, the problem might not be boredom, it might be movement. And I say this all the time in Thrive office hours, we need to be students of our children. Getting energy out before homeschooling is a game changer, not only for your toddler, but for everyone. Studies show that physical activity increases focus, improves mood, and reduces stress in children. And honestly, we already know it does all those things for us too. So before diving into lessons, maybe the right thing for your family is a morning movement routine. It can look like after breakfast, get everyone dressed and outside, a walk around the block, a quick trip to the playground, even just running around in the backyard. Whatever works for your family. Come back in, grab a snack, and ease into lessons. You'll likely see a big difference in how long your older child can focus, and your toddler might be ready to sit and engage with their special activities. But I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, even after those activities, my toddler is still a wiggly ball of energy. That's where high energy movement rotation comes in. Instead of relying solely on quiet toys, try incorporating physical play options into their homeschool routine. A sit and spin or balance board can provide motion while still keeping them in one spot, so you can keep an eye on them. A mini trampoline or tumbling mat in the corner can let them get their wiggles out in bursts. Movement songs are also great. You can find a ton of those on YouTube. We loved Lori Berkner. These can help your kiddos move while still staying engaged. Some days will be off days, and that is okay. To think otherwise, honestly, is a false expectation. Back when I was in the classroom, we had off days there too. But I know we're just so hard on ourselves, aren't we? It's because we love our kids. Even with the best plans, some days just won't go smoothly. Your toddler will be overtired, your older child will struggle to focus, and you will feel stretched thin. And when that happens, it's okay to pivot. A nap, a snack, a snuggle break, or even calling it a half day and getting outside again might be the best choice. Trust me when I say this, homeschooling is a long game. You gotta make this sustainable. And also, mamas of littles, remember this. Homeschooling has seasons. I remember the days when I had to stand under the play structure. I was worried my little one will fall, and now they go outside and play in the backyard and are gone for hours. Our seasons seem like forever, particularly when they're hard, but they really aren't. The goal isn't to power through every single day perfectly, but to build a sustainable rhythm that works for your family right here, right now, and in your season. So if your toddler is climbing up the walls, don't fight it, embrace movement, and make it a part of your homeschool plan. Your whole family will be better for it. And I'll give you strategy number 4 after another word from our sponsors. Before we continue, I want to share with you a program that's been a game changer for our homeschool. At our center, we instructed and helped kids through pretty much every math program on the market and know firsthand just how important a solid math foundation is for our kids' futures. As a career educator with high standards, finding the right program that checked all the boxes felt like too tall of an order until one day I tried CTC Math. CTC Math is an online math curriculum for K-12 students with motivating, interactive lessons that allow kids to learn at their own pace. It does all the teaching and grading so you don't have to, and their adaptive lessons adjust so your child is progressing confidently. With CTC Math, your child is getting a top-notch education and you just made your homeschool life easier. Visit ctcmath.com to start your free trial today or click the link in the show notes.
I've got some news. There's a new reading curriculum that ditches workbooks and drills for fun and games. If you're thinking fun and games sounds a little too good to be true, it's not. 98% of children improved their reading test scores in just 6 weeks with the Reading Skill Set by Love Every. It's a phonics-based program that follows the science of reading, but makes learning to read fun, motivating, and confidence boosting because it happens by playing games and then practicing with just right skill level books. Kids love it and parent educators love it. And it works. Visit loveevery.com/Christy-Faith today and use code Christy10 to get 10% off your purchase of the Reading Skill Set by Love Every. That's lovevery.com/Christy-Faith.
Is your child struggling with attention, memory, reading, writing, or math? If you're experiencing this, you know how heart-wrenching it is to watch them face these hurdles. You've poured love, time, and attention into their education, yet the struggle persists, leaving you feeling stuck and desperately searching for answers. You guys, I want you to know about Learning RX, a proven program designed to help your child's cognitive skills, enabling them to think faster, learn more easily, and perform at their best. I'm talking getting real long-term help here with things like ADHD and dyslexia. Learning RX is backed by 35 years of research, and their results are transformative. Use code HOME50 for $50 off your cognitive skills assessment. Go to learningrx.com or click the link in the show notes. Strategy number 4, try to involve the little one. Sometimes toddlers just want to feel like they're part of the action. If you're an older sibling, how many times did your younger sibling want to do exactly what you were doing? And if you were the younger sibling, how many times did you beg your parents to let you join join in. That desire to be included doesn't go away just because you're homeschooling. In fact, toddlers are often more cooperative when they feel like they're doing something important alongside their older sibling. So instead of constantly redirecting them, try bringing them into the fold and into the learning experience in a way that works for everybody. So, how to involve your toddler without derailing your homeschooling lessons? The key here is to give them their own work so they feel included without actually disrupting the flow of lessons. Here's a few easy ways to do this. Coloring books could be their, quote, schoolwork. Give your toddler a coloring book or a blank notebook while your older child is working. If your older child is studying ancient Egypt, you could print off a themed coloring sheet and let your toddler study too. Also, try hands-on silly participation. If you're learning about mummies, wrap them both up in toilet paper for a quick giggle-filled break. If your older child is working on a nature journal, let your toddler hold a magnifying glass and study the leaves with you. Toddler-sized school supplies are so fun, like a toy laptop, batteries not included, you're welcome, or a little whiteboard can make them feel like they're official while keeping them engaged. Also, you can use sensory play as a learning extension, and that could be called their school. If your older child is learning about the solar system, let your toddler explore space-themed kinetic sand or play with planet-shaped pom-poms while listening. Now, all these tips, tricks, and hacks are great, but I gotta get into a big idea here, and that is why multi-age learning is actually good for kids. Remember, our school system age segregates children, which, make no mistake, is unhealthy. Research shows that multi-age learning environments benefit both younger and older children. Younger kids develop advanced language skills, better social awareness, and stronger problem-solving abilities by watching their older siblings. Meanwhile, older kids build leadership skills, patience, and a deeper understanding by explaining concepts to younger siblings. So yes, involving your little ones might slow things down slightly, or maybe not even slightly, but a lot, but it enriches the learning experience for all of your children. And let's be honest, sometimes the best homeschooling memories aren't about how fast you got through the lesson, but about the fun, silly moments you created along the way. One of my favorite parts of homeschooling is that we are building collective family memories that we're all going to look back on and smile one day. Let's get into our last strategy, number 5. Have flexible expectations. Honestly, this should probably be taped to the fridge as a daily reminder, because if there's one thing that can make or break your homeschooling experience with a toddler and a baby in the mix, is being flexible with your expectations. Something I love about Charlotte Mason's philosophy is her emphasis on short lessons. Whether I'm working with parents in private consultations or when I'm in Thrive office hours, I always stress this. Keep most lessons very short, like 15 to 20 minutes. Why? Because kids aren't built for long lessons. Charlotte Mason knew it, and research has proven it over and over and over again. Think about it. How often do you lose focus as an adult when you're stuck on a task for more than 30 minutes? Now imagine being a child with half the attention span and double the energy. Expecting them to sit for an hour-long lesson is a recipe for frustration for both of you. Instead, break lessons into shorter, more manageable chunks to keep engagement high and meltdowns low. Here are some ways to stay flexible. You can shorten reading time if you need to. There's no rule book for saying you have to read every single page of a book aloud. Audiobooks count. Listening to The Wild Robot while eating a hot lunch might be exactly what keeps homeschooling sustainable for you in this season right now. My kids love book on tape. The other day I went upstairs and my little one was listening to Greek myths on her iPad with her headphones. Also, use screens as a tool, not the villain. Look, you've seen the research on excessive screen time, so have I. I'm not here to argue against that. But if putting on an education show for your toddler buys you 30 minutes of focused homeschool time with your older child, use it guilt-free. Some tried and true favorites: Wildcrats, Franklin, Little Bear, and the Magic School Bus. Now, the next one can be hard for us perfectionist moms. I'm sure there's none of you listening right now that struggle with perfectionism, right? Yeah, no. It's kind of in the homeschool mom DNA, but listen to me now. As a fellow perfectionist, recovering some days, not recovering other days, it will benefit you to embrace the good enough mindset. Some days will be smooth, some will be chaos, and some will involve more messes than actual lessons lessons. That's just part of the process. The goal is progress, not perfection. At the end of the day, homeschooling with littles is about adapting, not controlling. Keep your expectations flexible and you'll find yourself enjoying the journey a whole lot more. Some days will run smoothly and others, well, not so much, but that's just life. There will be mornings when everything clicks into place, and then there will be days when the toddler is melting down, the older child is resisting math, and you're questioning every decision you've ever made in your whole entire life. Here's the thing. Homeschooling isn't about perfection. My goal isn't for you to do it all flawlessly, but to feel confident and regulated enough to put your best foot forward each day. And when life happens, and it will, to give yourself grace. So let's talk about those moments when you feel at the end of your rope. Number one, it's okay to take a break, step away, and breathe. Resets are allowed, and let me tell you, when my kiddos were young, the resets were necessary. It's also good to remember why you're doing this. You chose homeschooling for a reason. The hard days don't erase that. And come back to the strategies. These 5 tips aren't just about making homeschooling with a toddler and babies manageable. They're about making it enjoyable. And if you're still unsure about your next steps or have lingering questions, you don't have to figure all of this out alone. Consider joining Thrive Homeschool Community, where we deep dive into topics like this and more during our 5 live monthly office hours on Zoom and our trainings. This podcast is just the tip of the iceberg. Support, encouragement, and practical advice are just a click away. In fact, you could click that link in the show notes and be having a direct message conversation with me and the mentors in under 5 minutes. Don't forget, Mama, you've got this. And on the days you feel like you don't, Thrive Homeschool Community is here to hold you up. We've got you. See you next time.
My heart